Well, they say never meet your heroes, but in this case, I'm really glad I did. Well guys, it's been a long week. I haven't done any videos in about a week now because I've been super busy with my real job. You know, I own a pressure washing business, and my season finally picked up and I started doing a bunch of jobs. So I've been working my ass off this week and haven't had any time for videos. But I did have time to do something really cool last week on Thursday, and that was to actually hang out with one of my favorite bands and favorite guitar players. I actually got to hang out with Michael Romeo and his band Symphony X. So before I tell you guys about my hang with Michael Romeo and his band Symphony X, let's go back a few months where it all started. So a few months back, I got a notification from my website that someone purchased one of my Quad Cortex preset packs. And I noticed that the name on the purchase order was Michael Romeo. And I was thinking, that can't be Michael Romeo of Symphony X. I mean, there's probably a bunch of Michael Romeos on this planet. Maybe it's just one of them guys, you know? So anyways, I went to send him the presets, and then I had to email him and ask him for his cloud name so that I can send him to the right person. And he sent me his cloud name, and I sent everything over to him. And a couple days later, I was kind of like, man, this is bugging me. I got to find out, you know? So I ended up emailing him again, and I just said, hey, I'm just curious. First of all, I hope you're enjoying the preset packs and everything. And I said, I just want to know, are you Michael Romeo from Symphony X? And he emailed me back and he said, yes, that's me. And I was like, I can't believe it. You know, one of my guitar heroes bought one of my preset packs from me, and not only did he buy it from me, but he actually said he really liked them very much. So I emailed him back, and, you know, I told him how much of a fan I was of his music and his guitar playing and how much he's influenced me over the years. And so we started a kind of a, you know, back and forth about some other things. And then we got on the topic of smoking meats, and he was like, oh yeah, I love smoking meats. I got a Traeger, and we went back and forth about that. And we kind of bonded a little more over that. And it was really cool, you know, talking to him about normal stuff, you know. And I just thought the guy was super cool, really down to earth, humble, approachable, and just a really genuinely cool guy. And because I follow them on Facebook, I noticed that they were coming here within about a month or so to play over at the Token Lounge. And I was like, dude, I got to come see these guys, you know. So I messaged him and I just said, hey, you know, I noticed that you're coming here in May, and it would be nice to meet you, you know. And I said, I'll even cook you guys dinner. I'll bring you something from my smoker, and we can all hang out, and at least I could feed you guys. I know being on the road is kind of hard, you know. You're not eating the best food sometimes, so I figured I would do that for them guys. And he was like, dude, that would be awesome. And so he said, just let's get in contact when it gets closer to the tour date, and then we'll hook up. So of course, a day or so before they got here, I emailed him, and then we set things up. And so the day of, I made a huge pork butt for them, and I brought a whole bunch of stuff to make street tacos with. And I just thought it'd be kind of, you know, cool to, you know, share a meal together and feed them guys, because like I said, when you're on the road, and you guys that go down the road know that what I'm talking about, food's not always the best, you know. So the day of, I showed up with a perfectly cooked pork butt. I was hoping so bad. I'm like, please come out good, because sometimes you get a miss every once in a while, but this one came out amazing. It was tender, juicy, flavorful. It was awesome. Cooked for about 14 hours, by the way. That was awesome. So I showed up with everything, and Michael was standing outside the tour bus, and he noticed me coming up there, and immediately he was very welcoming, very kind, and introduced himself, shook my hand. Hey, it's nice to finally meet you, and this and that. And you know, I just said, hey, I got a bunch of stuff, and he's like, yeah, I'll help you carry the stuff in. So he's like, follow me, and we're going to go in the building at first, I think, and then he's like, let's just get on the tour bus and eat on there. And I'm like, yeah, I've never been on a tour bus before, so I always wanted to see what that was like. So I followed him into the tour bus, and then we you know, unwrapped the pork butt, and I started cutting it up and everything with the claws, and we got everything ready. And next thing you know, the rest of the band came out because they smelled the food. They were like, hey, I smell food. This smells awesome. And so I met the whole band, and that was awesome. And it was kind of cool because Russell Allen was there, and as I was cutting it up, he's like, "Dude, can I get in there? I want to try a piece of that." So he grabbed a piece of it, and he was like, "Dude, this is good." So everybody started grabbing their plates and their the tortillas and everything, and then started making their own tacos with it and everything. And we just sat around and had a real conversation, just person to person, just getting to know each other as people, I mean, we talked about music, we talked about gear, we talked about, everything outside of that as well. And I didn't take a bunch of pictures, and I didn't film anything. And I didn't do that because I just wanted to have a genuine interaction with these guys, and I didn't want them to have to be on the whole time and be pressured to be on camera. And I just wanted us to have a relaxed situation so that we could just hang out and be ourselves, And I have to tell you, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I mean, it was freaking awesome just hanging out with these guys and just getting to know them as real people. And every single person in that band was very kind and welcoming to me, and no one was putting on any airs. I mean, there was no egos, there was none of that. It was like me just talking to my neighbors or some friends or whatever, and it was really cool, and I'll never forget that day and that night. I mean, it was really, really awesome. And then later that day, the manager came up and told me to follow him to his office, and he got me a lanyard, so that was cool, so that I can go anywhere in the venue and not be, hassled by anybody. And then I ended up spending the rest of the afternoon with both Michaels, Michael the guitar player and Michael the bass player, in the green room, and we just hung out and talked about, like I said, like real stuff, And it was just a lot of fun hanging out with these guys and getting to know them, and just feeling welcomed, and I didn't feel out of place at all. And I really liked the fact that I just felt very comfortable there. And these guys, as good as they are, and they're amazing musicians. I mean, they're all world-class musicians. And they put out many albums and toured all over the place. And they have fans everywhere. And, as much of that is going on, they just felt like just normal, everyday dudes. And it was really cool. So about an hour before they went on stage, I kind of gave them their space so that they can do their warm-up routines or whatever their rituals are before they go on stage. So I just gave them their space to do that. And then I went out and hung out with some friends, my friends Steve Shaheen and TJ Richardson. We hung out in the venue waiting for them to come on. And the opening band was really good, and enjoyed that very much. And then when it was time for Symphony X to come on, I mean, the whole place, you could feel the energy, everybody was just waiting for these guys to come on, and then the intro music started, and man, it was just freaking awesome. I'm just telling you guys right now, like, if you've never seen this band live, you have to go see them. So if they're coming to a venue anywhere near you, even if it's sort of far away, it's worth the drive. I mean, these guys put on one of the best shows you will ever see. It's all genuine. There's no BS. It's just real musicians playing real music and just giving everything they have on stage, and everybody in that band is at the top of their game. I mean, every single musician is amazing. You know, they're all at a really high level. You know, Russell Allen, as far as the vocals go, I've never heard a singer perform like him live. I mean, that guy hits every note, and he's just amazing, and he puts everything he has into the vocals. You know, they just sound killer, you know, just like the album. And in fact, in some ways, they even sound better because, you know, got that live energy to him. And that guy's so fearless, man. He just goes out there and hits all the notes and just does it. It sounds like it's effortless, but I know it's not. I mean, he puts a lot into it, but that guy is amazing. Freaking killer vocalist. And he was interacting with the crowd and shaking hands with people in the front row and really making sure that everybody had a good time. And he's a great host and a great vocalist and a great performer. I've seen him before at Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Carrie and I and our friend John Thrasher got to see them in, I think it was 2022 at TSO in Detroit. And man, that guy was amazing. Every time he sang, the whole room was like not wanting to miss it. You know, everybody just shut up and just enjoyed the performance, and he was definitely a standout in that concert for sure amongst all the other amazing singers. I just think that Russell has the best voice in rock and metal today. I don't think there's anybody that can touch him. I mean, that guy is insane. Really, really good singer. And the rest of the band too. Like I said, they're all at the top of their game. And Michael Romeo, I would say that he's easily in the world top 3 guitar players. I mean, the guy is just amazing. He's a great writer. He's a great performer. And the guy, his technique is amazing. When you watch him play, he's so economic with his playing. It almost doesn't even look like his fingers are moving. He's so economic about it, and his technique is about as perfect as you can get. I mean, the guy is just incredible. So the concert was insane. The sound was great. The sound guy was awesome. The light guy was awesome. And they just did such a great job in the concert. And that was one of the best concert experiences of my life. It really was. Everything from the performance to the tones, the guitar tones, the drum sound, the vocals, the just, you know, the bass tone, everything. The keyboards sounded amazing, very symphonic and huge, and the balance of all that with the live sound was just perfect. It sounded awesome. So the sound guy, got to give you mad props. You do a great job. So just the whole experience is amazing, you know. So I would say definitely go see them if you haven't done so yet. I mean, I highly recommend them, and I've seen a lot of concerts, and that's definitely one of the top, I would say top 3 concerts in my whole life that I've ever seen is that one. That was just absolutely killer. So after the show was over, Michael was very gracious and kind and invited me to hang out with them guys for a little bit longer before they hit the road for their next stop, which was in Canada. So I hung out with them guys by the tour bus in that little gated area there, and we had some great conversations again. And man, I just got to say, man, I was just really, really blown away with the whole experience. And you know, it was just awesome, you know. And the best part really was getting to know these guys as people, you know. And it was just really cool having these types of like real conversations with these guys and getting to know them. And every single person in that band is a freaking stand-up dude. They're all cool guys, and I would hang out with them anytime, you know. You know, and it's like I said at the beginning of the video, you know, like never meet your heroes. You know, sometimes you're disappointed if you do or whatever, but with these guys, I was not disappointed at all. I was like super impressed with how amazing these guys were as people. And we all know they're amazing musicians, but I think that the people themselves are just as amazing people as they are musicians, if that makes sense. And they were very grateful for the food and thanked me up and down for it. In fact, a lot of them kept, you know, hey, you want some money for this? And I'm like, no, it's my pleasure. I mean, it was an honor to cook for you guys and bring this food and hang out with you guys. So it's not a problem at all. So they were even gracious enough to offer me money for the food and everything. And, you know, like I said, there was no entitlement, you know, mentality from these guys at all. They were just all super cool, down to earth. and very gracious and thankful guys. So I really appreciated that. Well, Michael and the rest of the members of Symphony X, you guys have always been big heroes to me. I've looked up to you guys for years and enjoyed your music, and you've definitely had that kind of hero thing with me, and I appreciate everything you guys have done over the years. But after spending an afternoon and an evening with you guys and getting to know you all as people, I still think you're my heroes, but I think I can also now call you my friends. Thank you guys so much for your hospitality and your kindness and your patience with me. I really appreciate that very much. And anytime you come to Michigan and do a show, I'm definitely going to cook for you, and hopefully we can hook up sometime again in the near future. I know I'll be talking to Michael very soon once again, so I'm really looking forward to that. And once again, if you haven't checked out Symphony X yet in a concert, definitely do so. I know they're still touring in America right now, but they're soon heading to Europe. So if you're in Europe or in America, look them up on Facebook and check out their tour dates, and do not miss one of their shows. I'm telling you, it's one of the best shows you will ever see. Man, I've been wanting to share this story with you guys since Thursday night, and I finally got a chance to do that in this video, and I appreciate you guys listening to me. So, you know, the thing is with this channel is it's taken me to places where I never thought I would go. You know, I mean, because of this channel, I've met a lot of great people, and because I make the profile and preset packs for different digital platforms, I've gotten to know some other people as well. And thank God for this channel and the quad Cortex in this, you know, in this instance anyways, because it connected me to an amazing guitar player, an amazing person like Michael Romeo. And you just never know what's going to happen, right? I mean, this is just such a cool experience, and I'm just so grateful for all of the opportunities that this channel is bringing me, because like I said, I get to meet a lot of great people. Those are the best opportunities for me, is just to get to know and meet great people out there, and you know, I'm able to have them enrich my life, and hopefully I can do the same with them. But I really learned a lot that day from them guys, and I'll never forget any of it. It was amazing. So here's to more situations like that in the future, and I'm just I'm just freaking blown away. Seriously, I can't wait to see what the future brings. Okay, this first comment is from my Soldano Astro 20 versus Soldano SLO 30 video. And this is from Metalmeister 3054. He says, I love boost Karen jabs. Keep them coming. I drive a Revv 4 hybrid, but love beer, boost, and Browning rifles. Let's go. Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for commenting. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, and I'm glad you enjoyed my little shots at the boost Karens out there. I'm telling you, man, boost Karens crack me up, and it's just funny how, you know, people get so judgy. Oh, you use a boost pedal, you shouldn't have to, and that means you suck as a guitar player and that kind of stuff. Dude, all that matters is the end results. You use what you need to use to get the results that you want, and I always judge everything by the results, not by how they got there. You know, and if the results are good, then you're using the best thing that works for you. So keep going with whatever works for you, and we all use different stuff. And as long as you're happy with what you're playing through and what gear you're using, that's all that matters. And by the way, I just finished the final design of my Boost Karen mugs, and I'll be announcing that very soon, and they look awesome. So I can't wait to share that with you guys very soon. All right, this next comment is from Aaron9142, and this is from my Mesa Mark 525 Keep It or Sell It video. He says, give me your JP2C, I'll even let you keep the Mark 525. Great tones and chops, sir. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. You know, I'm definitely going to keep the JP2C. It's one of my favorite amps, and I'm never going to sell that amp. It's freaking amazing, and I'll be playing it shortly in this video for, you know, in response to another comment that I got. But yeah, it's an awesome amp, and it's so versatile, and you can get so many great tones out of it. I think I got it dialed in, at least for my taste, the best it's ever sounded. So if you ever have a chance to get one of those, I highly recommend it. Now this next comment is from Mark Out West, and this is on my Soldano Astro 20 First Impressions video. And he's quoting me saying, the best amp Soldano has ever built. And then he says, clearly you've never played the 100. Actually, I have played the Soldano 100, and I think it's a cool amp, but I just think for the price, it's just too pricey for me. You know, it does one thing really well, but you know, I just for the money, I think there's other amps out there that are more suitable, at least for my taste. I mean, for that kind of money, I'd rather get something else that has more to offer. No offense to Soldano, no offense to people who love that amp. It's just, you know, I think the Astro made more sense. I mean, it's a 20-watt amp, but you have all the IRs. You can go direct with it, and it does sound really freaking good. So for me, if I had to choose between those two amps, I would get the 20 for those reasons. You know, it's just more feature-packed. You got 3 awesome channels, and you have 3 different modes in the channels. I mean, it's just a killer amplifier for the price, you know. And yeah, the Soldano 100 is louder and all that kind of stuff, but I think the Soldano Astro is amazing as well, you know, and I just think it's a great addition to my amp collection. But if I had to choose, you know, a 100-watt, you know, type of Soldano amp, I mean, I would just go with the Mezzabarba. You know, I mean, that is a better built amp. It's prettier, and it has 3 awesome channels on it that are 100% usable. In fact, I just played it last night in my live stream, and it sounded killer. And that amp is way more usable to me because it's got MIDI, it has a clean channel, it has 2 high gain channels you can dial in however you want. And you can get it to sound just like a slow if you want to, or you can get it to sound different and even better because it has the negative feedback knob, which really gives it that nice modern bite and stuff like that. So if you want build quality and you want more features and you want to spend about the same kind of money, get a Mezzabarba if you're going 100 watts. That's what I would suggest. But hey, to each their own. No disrespect to people who disagree with me, but that's the way I would go. And honestly, that's the way I went because I have the Mezzabarba right here. All right, this next comment is from Mark YC7VX. This is on my PRS MT15 Keep It or Sell It video. And let me turn my earbuds up here. There we go. He says, never had any problem with hum. I have heard so much of stuff about this hum, and mine was one that came out when they were new and still never a problem. I have had so many amps and they never got critiqued so much compared to the MT15, and they had no less or more hum. My MT15, however, sounds amazing, and I agree with your reaction about it sounding awesome. Great review, man. Well, thanks, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. And it's weird. I've heard hit and miss stuff about that amplifier as well. I've heard some people say, I don't hear much hum with it at all, and I've had other people even show videos of it being pretty noisy on Facebook. So maybe it's a hit and miss thing. Mine definitely has some hum issues, and it's not a deal breaker though. I mean, I think the amp sounds incredible, especially considering the price. So it doesn't bother me enough to get rid of it, but it does have a hum to it, and maybe, like I said, it's a hit and miss thing, but I am glad that you enjoyed the video, and thanks so much for commenting. All right, this next comment is from my Our Mesa Rectifier Amps Obsolete video, and this is from Bryant40, and he says, I think the Recto sound will make a comeback, and more guitarists will go after that Recto tone. Well, I think it kind of has, in a way. I mean, the Badlander is like a modern Recto, right? It's kind of what they did. They said, okay, you guys are tired of the fizz and the flub, let's make an amp that gets rid of all that stuff, and they made the Badlander. Now, that being said, they overdid it, they over-sculpted it, and it was a little on the hollow side, and it needed a little bit more saturation. And one way to fix that is the Mr. Scary Hot Mod, and that totally fixed it. You put that in the V2 tube socket, and man, that just completely fixes it, and it sounds incredible now. So I think that if Mesa is to do a Badlander Mark II, they should do something more down that path, you know, because I think that mod really fixed that amplifier. So if you haven't heard of the Mr. Scary mod, definitely look that up and check out my video on it. Just type in, you know, Tone Wars Mr. Scary Badlander or something in the search on YouTube, and you can find that video. And man, I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference in that amplifier. It fills it up, makes it more aggressive, and definitely adds the saturation and fullness that the amp lacked. And now that amp is a total keeper. That mod really fixed it, and it's not a very expensive mod, and it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to, you know, install the mod, and anybody could do it. It's really easy, and it's definitely going to turn your amp into a fire-breathing beast. I mean, that was a pretty famous mod for Marshalls and stuff like that, but you can also use it with other amplifiers. Just check their website and see which ones it's compatible with. But that being said, maybe someday Mesa will do a reissue of, you know, the dual rectifier, and maybe they'll tweak it a little bit and make it even more modern sounding. We'll see. All right, this next comment is from my Red 7 Leviathan Keep It or Sell It video. And this is from ToneX 13, and he says, in terms of high gain tone, do you think this can do a convincing Mesa Mark, let's say a JP2C? If not, which one of your amps can come closest? So he's asking me if the Red 7 Leviathan can come close to the JP2C amplifier. So let's go ahead and shoot them out right now. So I have the Red 7 Leviathan in channel 2, which is the really brutal high gain channel. And then I have my Mesa JP2C in channel 2 as well. And I'm boosting them both with the Oddbox by Warm Audio. So let's just do a comparison of them right now. Well, hopefully that answered your question. You know, the thing is the Mark Series amps, they're their own thing. There's really nothing out there that sounds like them. So if you want a Mark, you got to buy a Mark. You know, there's amps that might have some characteristics of them, but I haven't seen or heard an amp yet that has that focused kind of punch that the Marks have, and also that bold thing that they have going on. I mean, those amps are really special, and that's why a lot of people that have Marks, they just hang on to them, and you rarely see them for sale because they're awesome. So if you get a chance to get a JP or a Mark IV or even the new Mark 7, and you can get a good deal on it, get it, man, because they are amazing. I just realized I was looking at the wrong camera during that whole little spiel, but I don't care. I'm not going to reshoot that. Now, that being said, the Red 7 Leviathan is also amazing. So if you're looking for something that sounds like that, then definitely get one of those. They're great dudes. They make great gear, and I love my Leviathan. It's an awesome amplifier. So I think if you flipped a coin and picked either one of these, you'd be really happy. But if you're after that Mark tone, then get a Mark. That's the best advice I can give you. All right, next comment. This is from my Lick Lighter Scalpel versus Red 7 The Dirt amp video that I did. And this is from Matt VDH. He said, your Kickstart My Heart riff needs a little bit of work. But seriously, both amps sounded awesome, and not really any clear-cut winner to me. Both were nice. Well, thanks for commenting. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, and I'm glad you liked both of the amps. I did too. I think they're both really good amps. Now, regarding the riff, you're right. I was a little sloppy on the riff, but I mean, dude, you have to understand, I own a pressure washing business, as I've said a billion times in my other videos, but I remember that day. I just got home from washing a huge deck and a huge house, and I was freaking exhausted, and I had to get that video done because I had to pack that amp up, the Lick Lighter that is, and send it over to Kyle Bull so that he could do you know, his own demo of the amplifier. So I was in a hurry to get it done, and sometimes when you're exhausted and you're in a hurry, you don't have time to be perfect. But yeah, I even, when I was editing the video, I was like, damn, I probably could have played that a little better, but whatever, you know, I played it good enough to get the comparison done, and that was the main thing. But yeah, as long as I'm not exhausted and I'm not in a rush, usually I can, you know, play pretty well in my videos, but there are days where I'm not going to do that. We're all human, and we have our shortcomings here and there, and there's good reasons for them. And I know you weren't being mean or anything like that. You're just ribbing me a little bit, and I can take it because I'm not a little soy boy bitch. I'm a man. All right, this next comment is from Tone Ace, and this is from my video I did a while back where I did a video on the EQ pedal and can you use it as a boost pedal. And he said, I got one of these coming in the mail now. Can't wait to try it out. I want it for its EQ purposes, but I'm hoping it can pull double duty and replace my Spark Mini Boost as well. It sounds absolutely killer in your vid, so I have high hopes. Just like every other piece of gear I order, in the back of my mind, I'm secretly hoping that it will magically make me better as a guitar player. It hasn't happened yet. I still hold out for hope and continue to spend way too much money on gear, hoping to find a piece of gear that will enhance my abilities. Well, congratulations on the purchase, and I know you're going to like it. It's a killer EQ pedal, and it sounds great in the loop or in front of the amp. Obviously, in front of the amp, you'll use it as a boost. In the loop, you'll use it as more of an EQ thing. So I think it would serve both purposes really well. Now, regarding gear making us better players, I mean, there's actually a little bit of truth to that. I mean, let's face it, when you're playing through a certain piece of gear that just sounds and feels the way that you want it to and that really works for you, yeah, you'll play better because you're more confident, and there's a little bit of the placebo effect, you know, and it just helps you play better because it just works for you, you know. I mean, I've heard of many guitar players, no matter what level they are as far as how good they are, plug into someone else's rig and they're just like, oh my God, I feel like I have arthritis. I can't play this. I still remember the story that John Petrucci told when he was on a G3 tour with I think it was Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, and they did the Chinese fire drill thing with each other's rigs and sound check, and he was like, all three of us were like, yuck, how do you play through this? And they couldn't play through each other's rigs at all. He said they all felt like they were the worst guitar players in the world. Why? Because they're playing through something that didn't work for them. Even though it worked really good for the individual that owned that piece of gear or that rig. So yeah, playing through the right stuff definitely can help you. You know, it'll help you play your best. Now, will it help you play beyond that and give you superpowers? Obviously not. But you want stuff that really does feel comfortable and sounds the way that you want it to. And then it encourages you to play more. So I think that ipso facto, it'll make you play better eventually because you're going to play more, which means you'll end up practicing more and getting better. You know, so in a roundabout way, the right gear can make you a better player, but there's no magic pedal or magic amp or anything like that that's going to enhance your playing in a way where it gives you superpowers all of a sudden. I mean, practice, practice, practice. That's really the only way around it. I wish there was a shortcut. If there was, I would make a video about it and get 10 billion views on it overnight, and everybody in the world would be amazing players, but it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Trust me, I've tried. Now, this might sound silly, but some of the things that I do here, if I'm having a day where I just suck, I'll literally just change my guitar pick sometimes. I'll just go, let me just grab a different guitar pick. And I know that probably most of it is a placebo thing, but sometimes it actually helps. I'm like, oh yeah, suddenly I'm playing better. It's just like baseball players, they'll grab a different bat or whatever. I mean, whatever we need to do to trick ourselves into, you know, thinking that, oh, it's not me, it's the thing, you know, help us play better, just do it because you'll have a better practice session. And the next day you'll pick up that same pick that was the culprit of your shitty playing and play just as good, you know, anyway. So it's just kind of weird how it works, but hey, we all have little superstitions and stuff. So use what works best for you. And at the end of the day, if it gives you the results that you need, then I guess it worked. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And once again, if you haven't checked out Symphony X live or any of their music, definitely do so. It is worth it, 100%. Again, they're great people, and the music is just insane. I love that freaking band. And I like them even more now that I've met them and got to spend a day with them, and they're all great dudes. So definitely check them out for sure. And I want to thank everyone who's been purchasing my Quad Cortex, ToneX, and KEMPER presets and profile packs. I really appreciate you guys. It really does help keep the lights on here. And I've been getting a lot of great feedback on those packs, and a lot of people are really digging them, and I appreciate that immensely. Thank you so much. And thanks to all my Patreon supporters and subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified next time I come out with an episode or a live stream. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.